my God. Thank you for tuning in to my channel. My name is Cherie, and this is my journey. Okay, so we've been out Ubering all day today. Okay. We went home, did our exercises.
In half a mile, turn left onto Spangler Road.
Ate our lunch. And then, decided to get back out because we hadn't made our minimum, right? We're trying to, make our minimum every day. Every day. Okay?
Turn left onto Spangler Road.
I'm not gonna turn left onto Spangler Road. I'm gonna take north. So I was almost there, but a little bit shy. But I know my patience was running dry. It was running dry. I'm telling you, my patience was running dry. So I said, let me go to the airport. Pick up one fare that will at least, get me to my minimum. All right? I believe I'm at my minimum. Let's see. Gotta make sure I'm at my minimum. For whatever reason, it's saying that I hadn't made my minimum yet. And I know I made my minimum with this last trip. Okay? If not, I'm close enough to my minimum. I'm close enough to my minimum to go home. Because these people and their attitude it's bad. It's really bad. And if I don't have to put up with it, I'm not. I'm going home and enjoy my evening. It was overcast since about 10 o'clock all the way through like 3 o'clock. Then it cleared up. Now it looks beautiful. It's 77 degrees out. It's hot, right? Yeah. I don't know. I might have shrimp to cook. I gotta go home and cook some shrimp. I just, the way that people are magnetized, towards me is interesting, right? Because they don't even know why they're magnetized towards me, right? And therefore, they have no appreciation for the magnetic energy I possess. Yeah, that's so true. So yeah, we're what is that? Oh. Yeah. Hold on. Okay. I was having all kinds of software issues. I was wondering how come I didn't get paid. For some reason, it didn't register that I had dropped the customer off, then dropped her off. Then I get a note from Uber telling me not to tell the customers to cancel. And I'm like, I didn't tell no customers to cancel. Now, if they're talking about that young girl where I was like, oh my gosh, you're driving, you're riding 15 miles to school, to high school, and you're late. And I told her, I says, I'm not going to be driving over the speed limit to get you there. I hope you know that. That was the only thing I can even imagine that would even come close to me saying, right? Or no, that wouldn't be the closest thing. The closest thing is when somebody says, oh, I pay $600 in Uber every month to get back and forth to work. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a car note. That would be probably another statement that could infer that, I'm saying something against Uber, but I'm not. I'm saying the truth, right? $600 a month is a car note. But it's not telling them to cancel. The only time I tried to tell somebody to cancel was during that time I didn't have enough money to pay for the shopping trip. My virtual card hadn't been downloaded onto my new phone. Yeah. So anyway, there's an explanation for everything. There's an explanation for everything. So yeah, I went to Dallas Love Field. They have a place for people who will go and wait for a cell phone call from, whoever that they were picking up from Love Field. And right next to that is where the rideshare parking lot is. When I got there, I didn't know what was going on. But they have like they had a group of Arabic men. They were all praying together on the ground. They just put a little mat on the ground and they were praying right there. And I couldn't figure out, I think I might have got, an order before them, right? But that's because, I have my women's preference. So that's the only thing That's the only way I assumed that I even got a ride out of the airport, because I was gonna sit there for a while, and before I had a chance to sit down and I was gonna record right there. I was gonna put do a little small video right there at the airport, because they had a couple of outhouses, to use while you're waiting. They had a bunch of vehicles there. So, yeah, I think that's the difference between, wow, I should have took a picture, but I didn't. Like I said, as soon as I found it, as soon as I got parked, it was like, there goes my ride out of here. Yeah, I got my ride up out of there. Because that parking lot was almost full, and it had all kinds of vehicles up in there. All kinds. Big ass SUVs, Cadillacs, small cars, big cars. Although I didn't see a 15-passenger van up in there, but I wasn't really looking. So that made me think, because they said I was going to have a long wait, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to have a long wait, right? And I was thinking I was going to do a video, watch some videos, do my little time out down there at Love Field. Because, when you're driving in all this traffic, there's a lot of attitudes and projections of energy being thrown around out here on these streets. And of course, I'm an empath. I be picking up a lot. Okay, I be picking up a lot, and rarely do I throw any back at people, but let's face it, sometimes you just have to throw it back. Oh my gosh, it's 79 degrees right now. Yeah. But it had really surprised me for such a small lot. For such a small airport, how many cars was there, and most of them were men. Most of them were absolutely men. So I think that was the only way that, I got up out of there was, a woman's preference. Of course. And I can see why, because some of the men, they were out there, they were looking really very intimidating, And even though their cars may be fancy and nice, it was still very intimidating. Because why? Because maybe it was just because the men were all together. The men was like, posturing for each other. I don't know. That could be it. But wherever I go, you can posture all the testosterone that you want. I don't care. Okay? And a part of the reason why I even went there is because I was feeling kind of frustrated, because Listen, if you get an order from Sephora, right, you're not going to just get one order. I don't think so. But the times that I had picked up from Sephora thinking that it was one order, it was 2 orders, and for whatever reason, my phone does not accept the barcodes on its camera. So I'm sitting up there over and over trying to, scan it. Then I have to put it in manually, right? And these little fat fingers always make a mistake. Always. So I was frustrated about that because, my God, again, going inside of some of these apartments, right? First of all, you have to find parking. Then when you find parking, you go up, and if you don't go back the way you came, you can literally get lost. I was lost on the first floor, right? Because I seen the elevator and I'm like, okay, this elevator's good enough. So I'm taking that elevator because it's good enough to get me to the bottom floor, right? Or the ground floor or the first floor. Okay, so I'm seeing, wow, they have a floor 0 and they have a floor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, what? So I'm like, I'm sure it's got to be the first floor. I was wrong. It wasn't the first floor. You should have went to ground 0. I should have went to ground 0. Because I ended up on a floor where they had the pool and the doggy walk area that's inside of, the complex. They have a doggy walk area that's outside of the complex also. I don't know. Maybe it's for the people that's on the other side of the building, because I promise you, once I went inside and I started walking around, all of these, corners, I'm like, how far does this thing go back? And that was the second time that had happened today, right? The second time it had happened today, where I am sitting up here, thinking that I'm headed in one direction and I'm not. So I had to walk all around the complex just to get back to my car twice. Okay, so that's why I was thinking, I need to go do a timeout out there at the airport and, just get myself in alignment again, ground myself, right? And so, of course, I'm having a hard time finding where the parking area is. Where's the parking area, right? How do you get to the parking area? I ended up at Thrifty's rental station. And I'm like, dang, I think I've been to this place before. And I don't know, but that's not where I was supposed to be. I was supposed to be finding, the Uber, parking, which at first I went to the cellular parking, right? I'm like, well, I'm waiting for a ride through Uber. I guess that's what the cellular ride might mean, or mobile ride, or whatever, right? But it wasn't. That was for individuals, waiting for a phone call, to their passengers. Not for Uber. So I'm like, okay, well, where is it? Well, it's right next door. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, and then this lady, I told her, I said, you can pull up right here. She was in the middle of the street, trying to pull in where I'm trying to pull out. And she's telling me to go. And I'm telling her, I'm like, I'm going over there. So it ended up being kind of hectic. But then I'm trying to figure out, okay, because I had never picked anybody up from, Dallas Love Field, right? And so they have zone 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? But you had to go through like the ride app or ride share app or something like that. And that's where you would go, right there. So now I know how it's done. Because at least I've done it once, right? Because, I had dropped off at Love Field, but I hadn't picked up from Love Field. So that was my first pickup at Love Field. And it kind of ended, with disaster, because there was no signage. The signage was different from what was being described on the Uber app, and, sometimes I wish, if I'm going long distance or something like that, or people don't know where they're going, if they would give me the address, because you can't pull up the address right away. I want to pull up the address right away and stick it into my maps, because my maps, not only is it, designed, to keep me on the, the fastest track and no toll roads and stuff like that, but the language, is comprehensible. The Uber app, it's so fast and so speeded up that, you can't even comprehend. People were like, what is that noise? I said, that's the Uber GPS. And so they automatically assume that I got it speeded up. I don't have the option to speed it up. Full. So, yeah, the app be messing up for real. So I had to do a loop around. And when I was getting out of there, I'm like, my goodness, I was on Northwest Highway. Why did it have me even go back up on the freeway? It was a mess. And you know how Uber, Texas, has this way of doing the signage, right? With just an arrow. Like, really? Just an arrow? Anyway. Right? An arrow with an exit. Just improper signage. However, I'm getting, if you're used to it, if you know, you know. But if you don't know, then, you're left in confusion. But I learn as I go, so now I know. Right? Now, when it comes to DFW, I can't really say that, I know where the detours are going to be, because the detours are set up based off of, where they're working at the time. Okay? 333. Okay? So what I'm thinking I'm going to do before I go home, I think I'm going to get the car washed, because the clouds are gone. The rain had made my car all dusty and dirty. So, plus I'm gonna figure out why they didn't give me like a, they usually give you a little sticker that you put in your window, and that allows you to, it allows them to just scan it, and then, you just come in and, whenever you want. But yeah, we're gonna get a car wash. We're gonna get a car wash. I had to vacuum it out. Oh my God, these people, they've dirtied up my mats in the back. So yeah. And like this one lady, she was throwing shade. And I was definitely, trying to change her mood. I managed to change her mood, but she was throwing shade. I'm asking her name, and she ignores me, and she's just getting into the car, and I'm like, okay, all right, and then I'm like, call her name and ask her how she doing. She's like, she's fine, like, okay. And at least that lets me know that that's her. We have to know who we're picking up. We get a name for a reason. We identify our passengers by the name. And I don't think Uber's going to tolerate these people, paying for these rides. Even if it's a woman paying for it, she has to be present, or a woman has to be present. Right? And the reason why I said that is there was a ride where there was like a high schooler and a middle school boy, okay? I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, no problem, right? Even if she was a middle schooler, because she was a woman, a girl, she was actually, more mature than, she would be more mature than, a guy her same age. Even though the boy was more verbal and articulate. Okay? So, articulate and verbal communication does not equal maturity. It doesn't. So, yeah, that's that. It's going on 6 o'clock, and I made my minimum, so I'm trying my best to stay disciplined. Just stay disciplined. I really didn't like my mail that I got with all those bills. That, I can't pay yet. Then I'm just really gonna have to make a decision if I'm gonna go ahead and file bankruptcy, because this is hard work. I ain't gonna lie. Some people will say it's not hard work, but people have accidents every day. Okay? All day and all night. Alright? There's accidents going on out here in the world. Let me go and see about this car wash. At the car wash. Oh, let's find out what they say. I'm gonna let you hear what they tell me. How come I didn't get my ticket, my sticker, where I can just pass through when I want to? Or is this gonna be something where they look it up? Or maybe I don't even need a sticker. They just have it on the system based off of my license plate and I can just pass through. You never know. You never know what technology can do. So yeah, get a car wash. What else? I'm telling you, I have not really drunk enough water today. I'm ashamed of myself. I'm ashamed that I ain't drinking enough water. Hello.
Good evening, ma'am.
I believe I bought a unlimited.
Yeah, you're all good to go.
How does that work? By my license plate or what?
Yes, ma'am. So, I do want to let you know that our third lane is our express lane. So that's for members like you.
Oh.
If at any point in time that first and second gate is busy, I'm not saying you can't go through here. I'm gonna say if at any point in time it is busy, you can always just hop on the third lane. Okay.
Okay.
It does go by license plate, so just simply scan your license plate. Pop right back up, and then you'll be in and out of here in about 2 minutes.
Okay, yeah, because normally, they give you like those nasty little stickers and you put them up.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's all in the system, so it just, automatically by itself, just,
Great.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yep, you're all set. You good to go?
I'll put the car in there. Got it. Okay, yeah, so they just go by the license plate. You know how before you used to have those little nasty little stickers, you don't have to have that. And then he explained to me about that special line. I'm like, okay, all right. But I really haven't. This was my water today, and it's only half gone. Normally, I'd be on 2 of these by now. Trip me out. We came to a complete stop. Like, what the heck happened here? Don't do me. I'm stuck in the car wash. Go, you look great. Okay, now I feel better because I vacuumed out the car. It was starting to look a little dirty. And I got a car wash. And I feel good that now I know, just how it works. Right? They don't have to put them little stickers on our little decals on our windshield no more. And that's a beautiful thing. Didn't take long at all. Did not take long at all. Actually, the outside car wash, it was like 3 minutes. Like you said, 3 minutes. And the vacuuming didn't take long at all. Ooh, those vacuum suctions are very strong. Yup. Made me wonder, well, can I put the pitties in the car? Can I put the pitties in the car now? With that kind of vacuum, they might be able to get the hair up. But I should wash them before I put them in the car. Take them to the vet. So the vet can see that they're well taken care of. They're loved by their mommy. Yeah. So, I have a question. Does it feel like everywhere you go, once you get there, then it just seems like people show up? Not people, because it's just people trying to flex like they doing the same thing you doing. You ain't doing nothing special. That's what it feels like. You ain't doing nothing I can't do. Yeah, you better not say you ain't doing something that you can't do better. I can't do better. Because I look good. And whatever I do makes whatever I do look good. And you can say, well, if you wanted to, you could got all dressed up and all of this. Ain't nothing dressed up about me. It's just my soul is polished. My spirit shines. And when my emotions get involved, then I look darn sexy doing it. Because my feelings are involved. Okay, so let's see. Oh yeah, we are going to eat that plant-based chicken. I don't know how plant and chicken both were put in the same statement. How? But we're gonna eat it. I got some teriyaki sauce I can put on it, because the teriyaki sauce it's just a hint of it, you know. And sauce is sauce to me.